You are standing knee-deep in black water trying to pull a living animal from its home with your bare hands. It is not cruelty, it is hunger, cold, and the terrifying math of survival. Your fingers go numb. Something splashes beside you. One mistake can cost more energy than the meal is worth. For early humans, an empty river could become a death machine. By the end of this video, you will understand why fishing became far more than a way to get food. It was a survival strategy, a technology race, and possibly one reason humans learned to look at the natural world with such obsessive patience. We often imagine ancient people as hunters chasing giant animals across open plains, but some of the most successful survivors may have been the people who stopped, watched the water, and learned its secrets. Picture a riverbank at dawn, mist drifts over reeds, fish break the surface, and a small group listens for movement beneath the water. Fish remains occur at hominin sites close to 2 million years old, although those early finds do not prove that people were regularly catching fish. Stillness could feed you. Researchers discovered fish remains at early hominin sites, including the Kubifora Formation in Kenya, dated to about 1.95 million years ago. At first, they thought fish were probably just accidental finds left by birds, crocodiles, or changing water levels. Then they realized that later archaeological sites contained clearer signs of human attention to aquatic food. Fish bones, shellfish, hearths, and stone tools began appearing together near ancient shorelines and rivers. The twist is that fishing did not necessarily begin with hooks, boats, or heroic battles with giant fish. It may have begun with the simplest possible opportunity: stranded fish, shallow pools, seasonal runs, and people smart enough to notice patterns. A river was not just water, it was a moving map of calories. And once humans learned to read that map, they started changing the rules. Archaeologists found remarkably preserved fish remains at Ohalo II, a site on the Sea of Galilee dating to roughly 23,000 years ago. At first, they thought Ice Age people mostly depended on large land animals. Then they realized Ohalo II preserved evidence of a much broader menu, including freshwater fish. That matters because large animals are dangerous, mobile, and unpredictable. Fish can be difficult too, but water concentrates life in places that can be revisited. A careful group could return to a shoreline, a shallow inlet, or a spawning route and try again. The evidence also reveals an archaeological problem. Tiny fish bones often decay or are missed during excavation. For decades, the record may have made ancient diets look more focused on big game hunting than they really were. The ancient world was not divided into hunters and gatherers, it was full of opportunists. And the next step required something even more powerful than patience: invention. Researchers discovered shellfish hooks on Okinawa that date to about 23,000 years ago. At first, they thought remote islands with limited land animals could not support people so long ago. Then they realized humans had developed ways to exploit aquatic resources and adapt to island life. A hook looks simple, but it is a tiny machine built on accumulated knowledge. You need to know where fish feed, you need line, bait, timing, and enough skill to make a sharp object that holds without snapping. At Jordan River Dureijat in northern Israel, archaeologists found bone hooks, grooved stones likely used as sinkers, traces of plant fibers, and evidence for sophisticated line and hook technology dating roughly 15,000 to 12,000 years ago. This was not random grabbing, it was planning made visible. And planning lets a small human group reach into a world that was once out of reach. Archaeologists studying prehistoric fishing have found evidence for many techniques: active catching, passive traps, individual angling, and methods that may have used collective nets. At first, people imagined the ancient fisher as a lone figure beside a stream. Then they realized that some fishing systems work best when knowledge and labor are shared. One person watches the water, another makes cordage, someone repairs a net, someone keeps fire ready, someone teaches a child which ripples mean danger and which mean food. Fishing turns observation into tradition. It rewards the group that remembers last season, notices this season, and prepares for the next one. That may be why it feels so deeply human. It is survival stretched, across time. But before fishing could become a tradition, people had to face what the water could take away. Imagine cold water creeping through fur and skin. Imagine losing a precious hook, line, or net after days of work. Imagine watching food flash beneath the surface while your family waits on shore. How long would you keep trying? Yet the archaeological record also shows people returning to aquatic places again and again. Shellfish collecting required relatively little specialized technology at low tide, while more difficult fishing pushed people toward tools, skill, and cooperation. That cooperation was humanity's greatest weapon. Fire could cook a catch, families could share it, stories could preserve the knowledge of where the fish would return. Honestly, I think this is what makes the story so human. Your brain still notices movement on water. Your body still understands the strange tension of waiting, watching, and hoping for a sudden pull. Modern fishing can be food, work, sport, ritual, family time, or a quiet escape. We cannot know every detail of what happened beside every ancient river, but the science underneath is solid. Humans are not obsessed with fishing because water is easy. We are drawn to it because long before civilization, the water taught us how to wait for life.